Hey guys, James Quick here again. I just got finished recording the intro to App Studio video, so if you haven't seen that, I would recommend checking it out. Really quickly, what App Studio is, it's a browser-based free tool for building mobile applications for Windows and Windows Phone, and it does not require any programming at all or knowledge of computer science or programming. So for that, it's really fantastic. And what we're going to talk about here today is building your first App Studio app. So on the screen right now, my contact information, as always, Twitter, email, the local meetup, my blog, and then the bit.ly link for my YouTube channel that you're probably watching right now. So let's hop on over to App Studio, and I'm here at the home page under the My Projects tab, and I'm going to just start a new project. And as you probably saw, I've got a lot of them in there. And do an empty app, and create. And what I want to do for my app, I basically want to build a James Quick app. So an app for myself, my resources, my blog, my YouTube, stuff like that. So I'm just going to call this James Quick, really original. And I'm going to want to add, I've got a blog, so I'm going to add an RSS feed to my blog. I'll include my YouTube channels. I'll do a Bing search. And I can touch a couple of these other things as well. But what I want to do to get started is start off with an HTML section. If I click on this, you can write raw HTML if you've done any programming before. If not, you can ignore what I'm saying. But you can input HTML here. It's just very limited. So really, what I think of when I do HTML here is just an about section. So I'll call this about, and then I'll tab back over to the text. I'll just say this is an app for Microsoft Technical Evangelist James Quick. If I can spell my name. This app has links to resources, blogs, videos, etc. And confirm. And once I click that confirm button, notice that in the simulator over here, the preview, I see what that data looks like in my app. So there it is. Now the second piece I want to input is the RSS feed. And again, I've got an RSS feed for my blog, so I'm going to just title this blog. And I've actually got a little cheat sheet open here, so I'm going to go in and copy the RSS feed. And if you're not familiar with RSS feeds, what they do is, let's say you visit someone's blog, there may be some ads or some different buttons on the page, and you just want to see title and then the blog post itself. So RSS feed goes out and gets that feed of just the blog post, no extra information. If you are struggling to find this URL, typically on a blog they'll have a button somewhere that says RSS. You can click on it and that URL will just pop up in your browser. So I'm going to click confirm here, and once I do, now I can swipe over in my simulator, and notice I have a list of all my blog posts here that I can swipe through. Very cool. So very similar to that, I want to go in and add my YouTube channel as well. Again, probably the one that you're watching right now. So I clicked on the YouTube data source. I'll leave it as the section name YouTube, and then I'll go in and do a user instead of a search, and I'll come back over to my cheat sheet again and get my user ID and paste, if I can, just paste that in and confirm. Now notice if I swipe over twice, I've got my YouTube channel. So there's all of my videos for my YouTube channel. I've already got a couple on App Studio, and again, I just finished the first intro to App Studio, so that's loading as we speak. But this is a list of all the videos that I have in my YouTube channel. So I could do a section like Facebook, and I could basically give it a URL to my page, or just the tag that goes on the end of Facebook.com. Mine isn't public, it's private, so it wouldn't pull up here, so I won't worry about that. But I can do, let's say, a Bing search. And a Bing search, as you would expect, it just basically goes out and does a search and returns the results from that search, just like you would in Bing.com. And I'm going to search in the United States, and unfortunately, if I just search James Quick, I am not famous enough to pull up relevant results. There's a very good football player out there, apparently, with the name James Quick. So I have to be a little more specific. But if I search James Quick Microsoft and confirm this, I'll swipe over to the section. Here, the first one actually is my blog, so that's one of the things I've already referenced. I've got LinkedIn, a couple other things. But, again, I mean, pretty straightforward. These are just links to these different websites that Bing has returned, but pretty useful. So what if I wanted to, I mentioned collection in my first video, so let's take a look at what that is. Let's say I want to have a list of all of the different jobs that I've had, kind of like a resume, so experience, let's say. Let's go in and create a collection. We'll call it experience. And there's two different options here, one for static, one for dynamic resources. The static resources is data that's going to be it's going to be packaged with your app, so the user will not necessarily need to be connected to Wi-Fi or some kind of network. The dynamic resources will be stored in the cloud, meaning the user will have to be connected to the internet through Wi-Fi or their cell service. But the benefit here is that you can update this data at any time, and that will automatically update the app on their phone without having to publish a formal update, which is kind of a hassle. So I'm going to do the dynamic resources, and I'm going to add two columns here. We'll just call it title, and it'll be text, and then we'll add another one, and the second one will be description. Pretty simple. Description, did I spell that right? Yeah. So I'll confirm that, and now I can go in and edit. Oh, let me stay on this page and save first. Always save your work. Go in and edit, and I can come down to the Data tab, and I can click Edit Data. So there's my columns that I just created, title and description. I'll come down and edit data, and then I'll add a new one, and I'll say Microsoft Technical Evangelist, and works for Microsoft as a technical evangelist focusing on mobile application development. Something really simple. Go ahead and add this. Before I started, I was a student, so I can create a new column here and say student at Vanderbilt University. Go doors, and at Vanderbilt, James studied computer science and Spanish. Something really simple. So I will, that's good, I just want to keep that really simple. That'll be okay. So I'll go back, and then I'll go back here to the home content page. So I've got all of my things in my blog that I want, these different sections, and now notice nothing showing up in experience. I want to go in and edit the way the data here looks. So let's say, for example, the blog post. Not all of these blog posts have pictures, which is why some of them just have the empty square next to it, kind of like the top one. So I can go into my blog section and edit that, and I can go in and edit the layout. So on my two pages. So basically what you're going to have is a list page and then a details page. So notice if I start changing things over here on the layout, it reflects here in the simulator. So I can choose from all these different layouts. Since I don't know if I'll have pictures for each one, I'm just going to do text here. And I'm just going to do title for the top piece. And then instead of subtitle being the summary, I'm going to do, let's say, publish date. So now you can see there's my title and the date that it was published for each one of my blog posts. Now, inside of the details page, which is what you would find if you click on one of those, you can change some of these things to, let's say, description can be summary or so, and it should show a summary here, or a short description. So you can change all of these different things here. And you have a couple of extra layouts that you can change there. So let me save that and go back. And I can do the same thing for YouTube. So if I go in and edit YouTube, I can change this to just have pictures. So if I want to do them in a grid, or just a big picture and a title on top of the picture, that looks nice. Same kind of thing that you can change. So I'll save that. and go back to the regular content page. Now, for my experience, I'm going to go ahead and edit this. And I want to display title. I want to display the title, and subtitle I want to display description, and I'll just leave this as text. And actually, I'm going to get rid of this description and just do that clear so it's just titles. And then in the details page, that's where I want to show the title and then the description. So notice here I have my little description for Technical Evangelist. So collections can be really cool. Again, if you use the cloud to save them, you don't have to push formal updates to update your information. And one of the last things I'm going to add here is a menu, and I'll call this Contact. And you can do some really cool things with menu. And let me drop this little box down. And you can add what's called menu actions. And let's say I want to give them a link to, let's say, my Twitter page. I can come in here and choose an HTTP, and I think this has got to be HTTPS. And I can go twitter.com/jquickWit and confirm that. Oh, HTTPS. There we go, confirm. And now what this is going to do, let me scroll over to the menu. It's just going to have a little menu action here, and I need to, oh actually, let me get rid of that one and add it again. And I want to call it Twitter and HTTPS. Alright, and confirm this. And scroll back over, and there's my Twitter button. I can also add, let's say, a call phone. So if you publish this as a Windows Phone app, I could input my number here, and I won't do this for video, but 555-555-5555. Confirm that. That'll be a button, so if I put my real phone number in there, you could click that, it would call me. You could also do an email. So email here, and I'll give my Outlook email. If I confirm that, there'll be another button for email. And there's a couple of other cool things you can do. You can play around with this. You can do an address or directions to different places. You can do any kind of link, so Twitter, Facebook, your blog, anything like that you can add. And I can also, if I save this and go in and edit, leave this page, I can make it look a little nicer than it does by changing the layout. So I can just have it be bullet points or something like that. So that's basically it for all the content I want to add. I could go in and change these themes and make it, let's say I could go in and change this background and use their resources and choose something really simple. This little black and gray background looks fine. Go in and change these colors, change this to a dark red or something like that. It doesn't look very good, maybe a bright red. Anything I want, I could save this, I could change the tiles, and then I could generate this and test it on my phone and or play with the source code. We talked about that in part 1. So anyway, that's building your first app, and stay tuned for more videos to come on App Studio.